Okay, so these were some cool lucid dreams I had lately. I was gonna say, I did have an experience. I don't know if it was Joel or not, but a couple weeks ago, see, sometimes they can get you just right when you disrupt the sleep cycle. So this was like a couple weeks ago at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I got up, went to the bathroom, lay back down, and then boom. Like I said, I don't know if that was Joel or not, but it was all sexual scenario. And so I did have that experience, but I don't know if it was Joel or not. Could have been. And so at least I'm getting some stuff, but not really. Haven't been getting any really good stuff lately. Not since that last time Joel abducted my ass in the closet. Okay, so but what was funny too is that kind of like a deja vu type of thing, except in a different way. Like I went into the store called NBC, like in real life. And I've never went into the bathroom, but I had to take a leak. So I went into the bathroom, and I was just like, wow, this bathroom is exactly like one of the bathrooms that which I believe Joel, this was a scenario that I never talked about, because it was some scenarios I just never talk about. But it was several months ago, and you know, it was just a scenario, and then he sticks me in this skanky bathroom, and it was exactly like that bathroom. Like it had a little bitty sink, and then a toilet, and then all this extra room that didn't really need to be there. I don't know why it was so big. The bathroom was really big, which didn't need to be. And anyway, so I thought that was kind of weird, because that was the first time I went into the bathroom, and I was like, wow, this is exactly like the bathroom in that scenario. But see, another time when I went into that store back in 2012 or whatever, and I bought some stuff, or maybe it was 2014, around December, maybe, even though I didn't go into the bathroom, maybe Joel did go into that bathroom. You know, because even though I may not go into the bathroom, he could, like, if he's kind of always around me or whatever, he could kind of go into that bathroom and see what it looks like or whatever, even though I didn't go into the bathroom. So I thought that was kind of weird, because it was just kind of like when I went into that bathroom, you know, it was just like weird. And it was pretty clean. That store is just kind of gross. It's kind of like a thrift shop. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a freaking Goodwill store, except they call it like name brand clothing, but it's still like a freaking garage sale store. And so anyway, so that was kind of weird, and it kind of stunk a little bit, but I had to go pee. It's not real good to hold it, you know. But anyway, so that was just kind of weird, because it, like, when I went into the bathroom, it was just kind of like took me back to that experience, and I'm like, wow, you know, because it was so much like that one experience. Because they're always sticking me in bathrooms, and because the reptilians are like perverts and stuff. And that other scenario, I mean, I remember a lot of it, but some scenarios I just don't talk about, because they're just kind of weird and different, and nothing but like sexual. Anyway, so that was just kind of weird, that 3D experience that took me back in time to that experience. Okay, so, oh yeah, and then a few weeks ago, the aliens stuck me in my grandma's mansion. She died in 2016, but the aliens are always sticking her in my scenarios. But anyway, this scenario, her mansion was, oh my god, like a mile long. It didn't even seem like it was 2 stories. It just seemed like it was 1 story, but it was like freaking a mile long. But anyway, that was her mansion. But anyway, I never really talked about that one. But so here's just a bunch of funny lucid dreams that the aliens gave me lately. Like a couple days ago. And just within within the last 5 days or whatever. Okay, so let's see. Well, I guess I could talk about the one I had 2 days ago. Not yesterday. Wait, not this morning. Yesterday morning. So the 24th. I guess I'll talk about that one first. Okay. And at first, some of these experiences, I thought, well, they're not really good enough to talk about. But really, they are. They were. Okay, so yesterday morning or whatever, what time did I wake up? Well, yeah, it was morning, because I still got up about 9:30, I think. Okay, so I had this scenario where I was like at work, except we all had I don't know, it was really weird. It's like we worked in this, it's like the same job I have now, but we worked at home, so to speak. And it's like we were in this, it just seemed like, I don't know, like a small apartment building, but yet our homes were like this other little small apartments, and we actually worked in our own little apartments. That's what it was like. And when I went up to the boss, she seemed to be behind the almost like a clerk, behind a hotel counter or whatever, motel counter. Anyway, so that was kind of weird. But anyway, I'll get to the good stuff. And like I say, a lot of these lucid dreams were just like C- to D+ lucid dreams, but they still were pretty clear and significant. Okay, so anyway, so this boss, or at least everybody thought this boss was like nice, and I thought she was nice too. And this had to do with like work-related stuff. I thought she was nice too, and everybody thought she was nice. And so anyway, okay, I remember like being frustrated, like whenever she would get frustrated, like somebody would come up to her and say, this person wasn't able to like file their taxes or whatever. She would get frustrated and like chop their finger off. And so I remember going up to her and I said, these people didn't file their I-10 returns. And she would be like getting all weird and excited. She had light color hair. She was a white woman. I think the aliens were kind of copying off this coach I used to know back in high school. That's what they were copying, because she looked similar to that. So she would like be getting like all excited and weirded out. And then she was like, oh, okay, they didn't file their tax return, or they didn't file their I-10 returns. So then she came up to me and chopped my finger off, like with a knife. It was like with a knife. She chopped my ring finger off. This one on my left hand, that one. And I remember at first I thought she was gonna chop my right one off, and then I was like, no, do the left one, since that's my non-dominant hand. Okay, so she chopped my left finger off, and like I say, this was a pattern with her. She's chopped many fingers off. And so anyway, I was just like all distraught and stuff, and it didn't even bleed or anything. And I looked down at it, and it just like, it's like with my mind, I just mended it together like all perfectly, like there was no cut or anything, and it never even bled or anything. It was just like a perfect little, like I sewed it up, the skin, with my mind. So then I was walking around with 4 fingers, but like I say, this part where the ring finger is, it just all mended up together in an awesome little mend. Perfect little mend. It didn't even bleed. There wasn't even a scar or anything after she chopped it off. But okay, so But still, I was walking around, so I started walking around with 4 fingers, and I still kept thinking, well, this is still going to be debilitating, because I'm used to having 5 fingers on each hand. So I knew it still felt weird, and it still felt debilitating, and I was still having trouble with having one of my fingers chopped off. And then I started to think, man, I hope this is just a dream. Maybe it's just a dream. And but I never did really know that it was until after I woke up. Then it's like, oh, thank God, it really was a dream or whatever. A lot of times they give me experiences like that where they do something kind of bad, and then I'm thinking, oh, I hope this really is just a dream. I want to wake up, out of this dream. Hopefully this is just a dream, And So anyway, I went. It's like I went into another somebody else's apartment. Either that, or it was another room in my apartment. And like I say, we worked. That's where we worked, in our own little apartments. That's where we worked our job. Okay, so then I looked into a drawer. I went back to the boss, and I was like, I really want my finger put back on. And she said that she somehow misplaced my finger. She couldn't find my original finger. So then that's when I went looking for like somebody else's finger, because I knew she had a habit of doing that. Because like I say, for whatever reason, she lost my finger that she had chopped off. And like I say, she chopped the whole thing off. I mean, the whole thing, And it wasn't just part of the finger, it was the whole finger. And like I say, this part I just mended with my mind or whatever. Okay, so then I ran into somebody else's apartment, like a room into their apartment, and I opened up a drawer. And then I found another finger. It was another woman's finger, but it was like twice as big as my finger. And I looked on the inside of it, and it looked like coffee grounds, like black coffee grounds mixed in with black soil. So then I took the finger, even though, it was a lot bigger, and this woman's finger, or that finger, was like of a woman that was like, like 60-something years old, and like I say, it was double the size of my finger. But I knew that, I would be happy with that. So I took it out of the drawer, and I mended it on my finger magically with my mind. So then I had my finger back. Yeah, so I had my finger back, except it was just a lot bigger. But I knew that would be, okay. At least I had my finger back. Well, not my finger, but that other woman's finger, because the boss somehow she told me she lost my finger that she chopped off. Like maybe she ate it, I don't know. But, okay, so anyway, that was just kind of a weird experience. Because I don't think I watched any movies or anything pertaining to that, but maybe I did. I'd have to think real hard. Because I probably did, But yeah, so I don't know where they got that from. Yeah, so, okay, so the second experience, okay, let's see. I'm just going to talk about these other 2 quick little lucid dreams with turtles. They put me in the scenario, and and like I say, some mornings I'll have 4 or 5 lucid dreams. And then once you wake up, it's hard to remember every single one of them. Sometimes. Okay, but so that same morning I had this other turtle scenario, a separate scenario from the chopped off finger one. And it's like the aliens placed me in this older neighborhood that I used to know, in real life, and this, where this apartment complex was, in this old neighborhood. And I was standing outside. It was kind of familiar to me, like, the aliens were just trying to copy off of an older neighborhood that I used to know or whatever, an older apartment complex. So anyway, basically there was a street. I was on the other side of the street, and the apartment complex was on the other side. And this turtle just like bam ran like 200 miles an hour across the street. And I was just like, wow, that turtle is smart. It needs to be, flying that fast. It needs to be, moving that fast so it won't get injured. That's what I was thinking. But this turtle, it was weird. It was like, it wasn't a very nice turtle. It had a head, like real pointy head, almost like an anteater. Yeah, so that was kind of weird. It had this real pointy head, like an anteater, and it seemed kind of like not very nice, not very friendly. But anyway, at least I knew that. I was like, wow, that's a smart turtle, you know, flying across the street like that. And it just the alien just took that from my brain, because when I first found Reptilio, he was like hauling ass across the street. And I was thinking, wow, that's a smart turtle. And that was my first turtle I had, Reptilio. And then 6 months later, he got out of the yard, hibernated alongside the fence and got out of the yard. But hopefully I'll find him. I'm asking the aliens to help me find little Reptilio. Okay, so anyway, but it's kind of funny because, anyway, there was a cross-dresser that popped into the scene. And, oh man, I don't know if I can remember. I'm trying to remember, because I did have some interactions. I had some interactions with that cross-dresser shit. And I see, I can't even, like I say, these were D-, C+ lucid dreams. But, yeah, we did have some interaction, but I can't remember what I said at the moment or what he said at the moment. But there was this cross-dresser that came outside and was just like, la 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 la, walking around the little grassy area. But anyway, the reason why this turtle ran across the street was basically, well, first of all, to get out of the street, but it was like this little tree stump that was out in the grassy area outside the apartment complex. And it had, in the stump, there was, you know, big old puddle of water in the stump. So the turtle had ran across the street real fast just because it wanted to go back to its little home and drink the water. So it was like, you know, drinking water when I looked at it. And it had a little pointy snout. And it was drinking water. And then I saw like another turtle. And because at first I did want to keep one of the turtles, but then I decided not to. Especially the pointy faced one, I knew I didn't want to keep because that would seem kind of mean. But then I noticed how I saw, what do you call it? A dead carcass, a dead shell. I saw another turtle that, you know, had lived there once upon a time, but it had already died. So the shell was still there in that little tree stump. But anyway, so that was just kind of a funny scenario. And there were some other parts to it, but I probably already forgot those parts. Because like I say, these weren't like A+ lucid dreams. Okay, so anyway, but, and about a week ago, before that scenario, I had this other turtle scenario. Well, I know the aliens copied it because I watched public television and they were showing, you know, these Chinese people or whatever, these Asian countries, chopped up red ear slider type of turtle, like all broken up, you know, because they eat them over there. So the alien had copied that from my brain previously. And so about a week ago, they gave me another scenario that I was in the scenario, and then I was looking at this big what was it? No, it wasn't a fryer. It was more like just boiled, a big old pot of like a huge pot. I don't even know. It wasn't really even a pot. It was just a pool, a small pool of boiled water. And these two turtles, one of the turtle actually looked like one of my baby turtles, not Brownie, Bella. And then the other turtle, so one of them looked like Bella, the other one looked like a red ear slider. And like they both were still alive, and they both were like, you know, being boiled because the people were going to eat them. And I remember thinking, I wanted to save them. I wanted to save the little rascals, but I knew for whatever reason I just couldn't. And I just remember thinking, that's so sad, you know, I wanted to save them. And then I kept thinking, oh, well, I mean, I know the little rascals are still going to go to turtle heaven or whatever, but I wanted to save them like so bad. Okay, so that was another one. But I know that the alien had went off of that that public television cooking show. Ew, and I don't like to watch shows like that. Not where they're cooking turtles. But, So anyway, okay, let's see. Here's another one. Okay, so cooked turtle, one turtle. Mansion, finger, boiled. Seems like there's one I forgot to put on here. This piece of paper. Okay, well anyway, here's okay, I'll talk about the other scenario. A few days ago, where I was like, it was like me, my grandma, my mom, my sister. It's like, this isn't the first time either where they stuck me in like a cafeteria. Like the Heritage Cafeteria sort of thing. There used to be a cafeteria around here called the Heritage Cafeteria. And my grandmother loved it. And we used to go quite a bit when I was younger. And my sister went a few times. My mom, back when we were younger, with my aunt, what's her name? Aunt Maggie. But yeah, so, and they put me in cafeterias many times. The aliens had put me in cafeterias. So basically, so I was standing there, and like I say, my grandma was there, my sister, my mom, and we were just standing there, you know, going along, getting our food. So then I come up to a pot, a big old pot of boiled, it was like soup. And except, you're not going to believe what was in it. Okay, there was like some small underwear. It looked more like, you know, more for like adolescent underwear. But I saw like women's underwear, men's underwear. But like they seem more like, you know, adolescent, like 20-year-old or 18-year-old or 17-year-old, not like, you know, like big grown men. But there was some boiled socks in this big old pot. It was a pot of soup, except it was, I saw some bras, some short socks, which that's what I wear. Short socks. I don't wear long socks. And then I saw some men's underwear and some women's underwear. And like I say, some of the underwear was kind of small. It seemed more for like, you know, 16, 17-year-old people, not for like 50 or 60-year-old women or men. And some of the underwear were definitely men's underwear, or you know, boy underwear. And I just remember thinking like, yum, you know, this looks like some good soup. I mean, it looked good, fresh, good and fresh or whatever. And so, but then of course, you know, after I woke up, I'm like, okay, that's fucked up, you know. But it's like, see, I think that's when people say these ufologists or whatever, or these people, like, not really ufologists, but these people that like to talk about aliens and their experiences and stuff, they'll be like, there's an element of mind control, and but they never really elaborate. Well, here's one example. That's one example of mind control for sure. Because they're sitting there, the aliens are sitting there when you're in the experience, and they're making you think like that's all normal thing to eat cooked, boiled underwear and socks and bras. They totally make you think that that's a normal thing, and when you're under the scenario, you think it's a normal thing. Oh yeah, and by the way, I do remember like taking a bite, and you know, it just, I mean, I didn't actually take a bite of the clothing, but I remember taking a bite like of the broth, and it just, I don't know, I just remember it tasting like just like boiled water or whatever. But under the scenario, you think that's like all normal and shit, and then like the aliens have the ability, like if they wanted to tell me that was boiled blueberries, that I would have thought that was blueberries, even though I clearly saw that it was socks, underwear, bras, and panties. They could have told, because they've done that before. So anyway, after I woke up, I'm thinking, that's so weird, you know, because under the scenario, it seemed normal to eat a boiled soup, boiled underwear, sock, bra soup. That seemed normal. And then after you wake up, you know that that's not normal. But they done that before, like when they put me in that scenario, that Dallas scenario. That was a fun scenario. Now that scenario was more like A-. Yeah, that was fucking fun, man. That one, the Dallas. that was, like I say, that was A minus or A plus. Okay, and so in that scenario that went to Dallas, I had looked at, they made me open up the refrigerator. So it's like I opened up the refrigerator, or I think it was already open for me, but, or anyway, sometimes you'll just kind of like open it with your mind, so to speak. And I looked in the back and it looked like freaking pink, a big chunk of pink meat, a big slab of like pink meat, like it looked gross. I mean, it's probably like human meat or something. But under the scenario, they told me, the alien, which was the reptilian told me that it was beef jerky. So when I saw that big chunk of what looked like human meat or whatever, big chunk of, I don't even know what that would look like, by the way, but I mean, it just looked like, it didn't look like steak or any kind of meat I've ever seen before, you know what I'm saying? And, but that's probably what it was, a big hunk of, you know, it was like, 15 inches long, you know, 6 inches wide, this big chunk of meat, and that's all that was in that refrigerator, in the back of the refrigerator. And when I looked at it, I thought, yum, beef jerky, because they know I like beef jerky. So like they told me it was beef jerky, and so, but then after I woke up, I realized that wasn't no freaking beef jerky. See, that's the part of like the mind control element. I can't think of any other examples at the moment. Okay, so basically, like I say, when I was in the scenario, it just seemed, you know, it looked like, I remember even looking at the soup, and I remember thinking, wow, this looks like some good, fresh soup. Because the aliens know I only like really fresh stuff, and they know I don't want to eat really gross processed stuff with a lot of chemicals in it, and it looked very, very fresh. Which makes no sense, because how can socks and underwear and bras be fresh? You know what I mean? Okay, so, boiled bras, okay, oh, cool, okay, so I only got one more scenario to talk about. Turtle, lucid dream, cooked turtle, one turtle, cousin, okay, chopped the ring, okay, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything about the chopped finger. Let me think about the chopped finger scenario. I think I pretty much said all the important stuff, but I'm trying to think here. Make sure I'm not missing anything.